Y'all, it looks like we might need to put Wendy Williams in our prayers because things keep looking worse and worse for her. A couple of weeks ago, it was reported that Wendy was struggling so badly as a result of her addiction issues, especially because she was being aided and abetted by her so-called guardian for selfish reasons. Wendy is now speaking out for help, and girl, it's worse than we could have imagined. It's so bad that there are reports from insiders that it could be Wendy's last days. Let's break down the situation because it's just heartbreaking. We need to have a conversation about Wendy Williams because there's some seriously shady stuff going on. So we all know Wendy's been out of the spotlight for a while and isn't raking in the cash like she used to because she isn't working anymore. Normally, this wouldn't be a biggie since she's been hustling since the 90s and should have a comfy nest egg. But then, things aren't normal here. For those who don't know, Wendy is under a court-ordered conservatorship and can't access her own funds. The court handed over guardianship to a lady named Sabrina Morrissey, and there's been a ton of drama about it. Folks are worried Sabrina might be exploiting Wendy. The plot thickened a couple of weeks ago when Wendy's New York penthouse got sold for a shockingly low price. Curious minds started digging, and let's just say the situation looks even sketchier. For those who aren't up to speed, this drama kicked off when Wendy's bank, Wells Fargo, decided to freeze her out of her own account, claiming she was incapacitated and couldn't manage her finances. Wendy fought back, insisting she was perfectly fine, but the bank wouldn't budge. They took the matter to court, but unfortunately, she lost the battle and ended up under a court-ordered conservatorship. Her family was the first to raise an alarm about how sketchy the situation was, claiming that her guardian, Sabrina, had kept the family in the dark about Wendy's situation. When news broke that Wendy was planning to start a podcast and film a reality show, her brother didn't hold back, blasting Sabrina and Wendy's team for allegedly exploiting her and making her work when she clearly wasn't in the right frame of mind. He said, "This is not a woman who is in the right frame of mind to get a show going. Why are you even here? Do you see the condition she's in? Does it look like she's ready to start a podcast, for goodness sake? It doesn't. Whatever they do with it, they're going to do. It's going to be sad. I can't blame Wendy for anything. I want her to get better. She is not better, so I can't be mad at her for any of this." There were more reports that Wendy was being kept away from her family, but the situation got worse when we found out that Wendy was selling off her personal items. An insider leaked this saying, Wendy has been calling people asking them to help sell all her stuff. She is asking for recommendations on places that can sell furniture for you. The insider added that in her preparations for her move, she wanted to see how she could list items in her home, which could potentially include her iconic purple chair among other keepsakes. We finally got a first-hand look at this, at just how bad things were in Wendy's documentary. And let me tell you, it was a real eye-opener. From the very first scenes, it was obvious Wendy wasn't in the best state of mind. She kicked things off by saying she was broke and had nothing left, which made it clear that she might still be battling with her drinking issues.
She was put in front of a judge and given a guardian. That was when they took her away from us.
I have no money, and I'm gonna tell you something. If it happens to me, it could happen to you.
As her family, we were all sitting on the sidelines watching, and she was crying out for help.
Did you drink this whole thing today?
Keep it there.
Okay.
Keep it there.
In the same documentary, her son Kevin Jr. also claimed that he didn't believe that the guardian was taking care of Wendy, and he thought that she was leaving Wendy open to being taken advantage of.
The guardian has not done a good job of protecting my mom.
My life. My life.
Right now, she's weak and vulnerable, and she needs to be around people who aren't going to take advantage of that.
I have no friends.
Interestingly, back in 2022, Wendy's ex Kevin Hunter was the first to call out her guardian Sabrina for taking advantage of her. At the time, we didn't pay him a lot of attention because he was also fighting to get his hands on Wendy's money. He said, "Wendy was in rehab and these people just stopped depositing my money cold turkey. These people have tried to starve me out. At the end of the day, I earned that money and I'm not letting them take it. I know she is not in a good place and she is surrounded by people who are taking advantage of her condition, including this so-called guardianship." Wendy's condition in the documentary was so alarming that people immediately began demanding answers. Her sister and niece then stepped forward, revealing that Sabrina had isolated Wendy from her family. They claimed that they had to go through Sabrina every time they wanted to talk to Wendy. Her sister, Wanda Finney, claimed that the last time her family had seen her was in 2021, saying, "When she was in Florida, there were a number of people involved, even beyond family. There were doctors involved and people in Wendy's professional world were involved. She had a health team in place, nurses in place, and she had family in place. She was getting healthier. She also said, "I don't think there's anyone Wendy needed more than her family. Separate the money part, all I want to know is that my sister is going to live and that she is going to be healthy. The concern of the family has always been Wendy's health." Wendy's niece, Alex Finney, also discussed the extreme measures that Wendy's guardian took to keep her away from her family. Alex claimed that Wendy is required to call her family members from a blocked phone number, meaning they can't reach out directly to her. Alex also said, "And I say this honestly, we went through birthdays, we went through holidays, we went through illness. There was a period when my grandfather was in the hospital. There was no way to contact her and let her know what was going on with her 93-year-old father." The next thing we knew, we found out that Wendy had been diagnosed with dementia. According to her doctor, in 2023, after undergoing a battery of medical tests, Wendy was officially diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. Her symptoms, which combined impact her language and communication, behavior, and cognitive functions, have already presented significant hurdles in Wendy's life. Now, with all this, you would think that she would eventually start getting the treatment that she needs, right? I mean, she's pretty sick and can't even take care of herself, so the people that the law put in charge of her would finally step up and start taking care of her, but unfortunately, this is not the case. According to an insider, Wendy is being maltreated, even worse now. Her friend Regina Shell talked about how Wendy is being silenced by her guardian, who has allegedly been encouraging Wendy to drink because it would be easier to manipulate Wendy that way. Regina said, "This is a Britney Spears thing, only it's worse since it's not even Wendy's family who has control. At least with Britney Spears, it was her dad, it was her family. This is a woman who's not even family. And how does this guardian get all this standing?" Regina also said, "Initially, when I was staying with Wendy in the summertime, we were like triangulating. We were speaking to Sabrina, but then she kind of disappeared." She also claimed that Wendy was being starved and she barely got good food or even food at all on time. She said, "Wendy will order food at like 7:30 in the morning and breakfast wouldn't arrive till 11:30, and by that time she's ready for lunch. When I went back to Los Angeles, I would have to send her food from Los Angeles to New York from a delivery service because she wasn't getting the communication wasn't there. And she had no other access to money other than this guardian. This is so disgusting," and fans commented, "Sheesh, I feel bad for her, but if anyone ever doubted karma, they need to look at this woman's life." Another fan commented, "Why is this Sabrina person not being investigated? Who does she have in her back pocket in the New York court system?" And this other fan said, "I wish they would try to obtain Britney Spears' legal team to help." This is heartbreaking, but y'all let me know what you think about in the comments, then check out this next video.